Welcome to another episode, and today I want to talk to you about Tencent starting a US based studio in Los Angeles. Now, for those of you that don't know who Tencent is, essentially, Tencent is an investment firm for the CCP. The CCP is the Chinese Communist Party. So essentially, China's government is opening a brand new AAA studio in Los Angeles. And that alone has a lot of people worried because we know how the Chinese government is. They do anything and everything to save face. They censor so much free information out there from their own citizens and put that pressure on companies that want to do business with China to do the same. We see it with the NBA, we see it with Apple, we see it with Blizzard when it comes to Hong Kong, we see it with Disney when they're putting black actors in smaller font to please the Chinese audience. And so now they're going to be making AAA games for American audiences. And it makes some people a little uneasy, deservingly so. But then you have those who just want to make great games and see Tencent as a company that wants to just invest buku money into it as a blessing. Now, it may be a blessing, but it can also be a curse in disguise because, like I said, we know what China does. And even though it's Tencent that's investing in the companies, Tencent is the CCP. Now think of it this way, the American government going into China and opening a AAA studio to make games for the Chinese people. Now, what would be the purpose of the United States to do it? Mostly to project soft power, but I'm sure they'll be putting in some type of propaganda to make the United States seem good. Like we see now in our games when it comes to Call of Duty and other things. The Americans are always on the right side. So China investing in so many companies in the United States, so many video game companies, Epic Games is owned by China. But not only that, they invest in so many other franchises. And in return, they receive great praise from developers, such as Todd Sweeney. And again, to the developers and publishers, they're not looking at it in a political way. They see it as a company who wants to invest in us so we can make games. And they don't see themselves as censoring themselves, but we know they do, because you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. Now, Tencent has already been making games and trying to break into the Western market. They're big with mobile. You probably already played some of their games. But they've been trying to push into a AAA market so they can make Tencent more mainstream. And they have a Cyberpunk game in the works, and they released a little bit of footage last week or so. And it looks well polished, but it's still a little cringy to tell you the truth. But that game was made by a Chinese developer. And I'm hoping that these game developers don't receive the same type of pressure that other companies have. But I doubt it, because if Disney is willing to bend the knee, if the NBA is willing to bend the knee, if Apple, Google, if every other country is willing to bend the knee and turn a blind eye, then I'm confident to say that this studio, Lightspeed, is going to be under the thumb of the CCP. And that's something that all gamers just keep an eye on. Don't necessarily fearmonger on the idea, but just know that when you buy certain games, maybe when you jump onto certain platforms like China's answer to Twitch, Trovo, you just might be promoting a company that is controlled by a government that suppresses free speech and is accused of countless human rights violations. That's gonna do it for this episode. Remember, when shit hits the fan and the Chinese government starts spying on you through your video games, run.